Okay, so if you are ready, so kindly do the invocation prayers and start the recitation.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ragi Karma Palaprepsur Lubdo Himsatmako Suchihi Harsha Shokanvita Karta Rajasaha Parakirtitaha.
Hare Krishna, Malati Mataji. So kindly do the translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, and desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion.
Ayukta Prakrita Stabdaha Shato Naiskritiko Lashaha Vishadi Dirga Sutricha Kata Tamasochate.
The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance.
Buddher Bedam Duteschaiva Konatas Trividam Shrunu Prochemanam Asheshena Prutatvena Dananjaya.
O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature.
Pravritim cha nivritim cha karya karye bhayabhaye pandam moksham cha yaveti buddhihi sa pada satviki.
O son of Pratha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of godness.
Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyameva cha ayatavat prajanante buddhihi sa pada rajase.
O son of Pratha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion.
Adharmam dharmametiya manyate tamasavrita sarvartan viparitamscha buddhihi sa pada tamasi.
That understanding which consider irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion, under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mood of ignorance.
Dhrutyaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yogena vyabhicharinya dhutihi sa pada satviki.
O son of Pratha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with the steadfastness by yoga practice, and which those control the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness.
Yayatu dharma kamartan trutya dharayate arjuna prasangena palakankshi dhutihi sa pada rajase.
But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive result in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, O Arjuna.
यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मादमेव च न विमुञ्चन्ति दुर्मेधा धृतिः सा पार्दतामसि.
And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, laminations, morose senses, and illusions, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pratha, is in the mode of darkness.
सुखं त्विदानीं त्रिविधं शृणु मे भरतर्षभ अभ्यासाद् रमते यत्र दुःखान्तं च निगच्छति.
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the constituent soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress.
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे अमृतोपमं तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
That which in the beginning may be just like a poison, but at the end is just like a nectar, and which awakens one to the self-realization is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness.
विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् यत्तदग्रे अमृतोपमं परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसं स्मृतम्.
That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their object and which appears like a nectar at the first but poison at the end is said to be the nature of passion.
यद्दग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्तं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
And that happiness which is blind to self realization, which is delusion from beginning to the end, and which is arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be one of nature of ignorance.
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः सत्वं प्रकृतिजैर्मुक्तं यद्देभिः स्यात्रिभिर्गुणैः.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is freed from these three modes born of material nature.
ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय विषम शूद्राणां च परन्तप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभाव प्रभवैर्गुणैः.
Brahmanans, Kshatriya, Vaisya, and Sudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in the accordance with the material modes, or chesters of the enemy.
शमोदमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्.
Peacefulness, self control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work.
शौर्यं तेजोधृतिर्दाक्ष्यं युद्धे चापि अपालयनं दानमेश्वरभावश्च क्षात्रं कर्म स्वभावजम्.
Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in a battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural quality of work for the Kshatriyas.
ऋषिगौरक्ष्य वाणिज्यं वैश्यकर्म स्वभावजं परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रास्यापि स्वभावजम्.
Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaisyas, and for the Sudras, there are labor and service to others.
स्वे स्वे कर्मणि अभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दन्ति तच्छृणु.
By following his qualities of work, every man can become perfect. Now, please hear from me how this can be done.
यतः प्रवृत्तिर्भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तम् अभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दते मानवः.
By worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings and who is all pervading, a man can attain perfection through the performing his own work.
Shreyan Swadharma Vignaha Panradharmat Swanasthitat Swabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvannapnote Kilbisham.
Is it better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may be perform it imperfectly, than to accept another occupation and perform it perfectly? Duties prescribed according to one's natures are never affected by sinful reaction.
Sahajam Karma Kaunteya Sadosham Api Natyajat Sarvaramba Hidoshena Domenagnir Iva Vrataha.
Every endeavor is covered by some fault, just as fire is covered by smoke. Therefore, one should not give up the work born of his nature, O son of Kunti, even if such work is full of fault.
Asakta Buddhi Sarvatra Chitatma Vigataspraha Naishkarmya Siddhim Paramam Sanyasena Digachate.
One who is self-controlled and unattached and who is disgrades all material enjoyment can obtain by practice of re- reuni- reunifications and the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction.
Siddhim Prapta Yata Brahma Tatapnoti Nibodhame Samasena Eva Kaunteya Nistajnanasya Yapara.
O son of Kunti, learn from me how one who has achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of higher knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize.
Buddhya Vishuddhaya Yukta Dhrutyatmanam Niyamacha Shabdadin Vishayam Styaktva Ragadvesha Vyuddhasya Cha Vivikta Sevi Lagavashi Yatavakaya Manasaha Dhyana Yoga Paro Nityam Vairagyam Samuparshritaha Ahankaram Palam Darpam Kamam Krodam Parigraham Vimucha Nirmamaha Shanta Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with the determination, giving up the object of sense gratifications, being freedom from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in a trance and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false pro- priorities and peaceful, such as person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the translations.
Hari Bol, that's such a beautiful Sanskrit recitation, Dijit. Really nice doing so many shlokas all together on your own. Amazing. All glories to your service, and thank you, Mataji, also for the nice translation. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Didi. Thank you, Mataji. So beautifully done all the recitations. Okay, so we shall move on to the next part of our program, which is Japa. If any children are available, to do Jai Shri Krishna 3 times, then we shall start the Japa. Sakshi Mataji, would you like to do Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya 3 times?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Hare,
कृष्ण
Rama
हरे
Rama,
हरे,
Hare
हरे राम
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Rama Rama,
कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण हरे
Hare
हरे,
Krishna,
हरे
Hare
राम
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama,
हरे
Hare Hare,
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे
Krishna
हरे,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare
राम
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
कृष्ण
Rama,
हरे
Rama Rama,
हरे,
Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare Krishna,
कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे
Krishna
हरे,
Krishna,
हरे
Hare Hare,
राम
Hare
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम
Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare Krishna,
कृष्ण
Krishna Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Hare, Hare
कृष्ण
Rama,
हरे
Rama
हरे,
Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
हरे
Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
हरे हरे,
Rama,
हरे राम
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
हरे
Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
कृष्ण
Rama, Rama
हरे
Rama,
हरे,
Hare
हरे
Hare,
राम
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
हरे
Hare Hare,
राम
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Hare,
हरे
Hare
हरे,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
कृष्ण हरे हरे,
Hare Krishna,
हरे
Hare
राम
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
हरे
Rama Rama,
कृष्ण
Hare
कृष्ण
Hare, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
हरे हरे,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
हरे
Hare,
राम
Hare
राम
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
हरे
Krishna, Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna, Krishna
कृष्ण
Krishna,
कृष्ण
Hare Hare, Hare
हरे
Rama, Rama
हरे
Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So, if anyone has not yet completed the chanting, so kindly complete it in the background. So, meanwhile, we shall enter into next part of our program. So, it is Kirtan. So, today, Kirtan by Her Grace Prabhavati Sachi Devi Dasi Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please
Yes,
accept my humble obeisances. Hare Krishna everyone. Please accept my humble obeisances. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Gokulananda, Radha Gokulananda, Sri Radhe, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman, Jaya Radha Landaneshwara, Radha Landaneshwara, Sri Radhe, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev Jaya Srila Gurudev. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari. Thank you.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautiful Kirtan. Okay. Thank you. Thank you everyone for coming this evening. And so we shall move into next part of our program, Mangalacharan prayers by Smriti Karna Mataji. Hare Krishna
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam to all devotees. Virandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chukshurunmilitam Tasmai Jena Sri Gurube Nama Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadati Sampadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapadakammalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabdhutam Purijan Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Loyang He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shuti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpaturu Bhasya Kipa Sundhu Bheva Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So beautiful Mangalacharan prayers. Okay. And the Premadhvani prayers by Ratan Prabhuji, Ratan Chakravarti Prabhuji, if Prabhuji is available. Is Ratan Chakravarti Prabhuji is available, Mataji?
I'm not at the same room, maybe the downstairs. Would you give little time?
Yes, Mataji, yeah, sure. Hare Krishna, Vipinia Vihari Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. So nice to see you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for kindly accepting to speak on Bhagavad Gita. So after a very long time, it is very pleasing to see you here in the Sangha.
Jai.
Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Rasalila, Srimati Devi Dasi Mataji, and Hare Krishna, everyone. So thank you so much for coming and giving your valuable association.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
No, yeah. I cannot see because it is my mobile phone. Yeah. Maybe I can mention on my memories or whatever I am doing, if you allow me.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishnu. Om Nityalila Pravishta Jaya Pravishta Om Nityalila Pravishta Jaya Srila Abhay Saranamita Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki.
Yeah.
Om Nityalila Pravishta Jaya Vishnu Padaya Ashtottara Shotachari Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Om Nityalila Pravishta Param Vishnu Srila Srila Gaur Sridas Babaji Maharaj ki.
Yeah.
Jai.
Om Nityalila Pravishta Jaya Vishnu Padaya Ashtottara Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Acharya Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Om Nityalila Pravishta Jaya Vishnu Padaya Ashtottara Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki.
Jai.
Namaste Sri Haridas Thakur ki.
Jai.
प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की
Jai.
जय गंगा मई यमुना मई की
Jai.
जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी वृंदा देवी की
Jai.
जय गिरिधारी गिरि गोवर्धन की
Jai.
जय मायापुर धाम वृंदावन धाम की
Yeah.
all glories to assembled devotees
Hare
all
Hare
all
Krishna.
glories to assembled devotees
Hare Krishna.
all glories to assembled devotees all
Hare
glories to the Guru
Hare
and
Krishna.
Hare
No,
Krishna.
right. Step with the lesson. What to the meaning in the pronunciation.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So beautifully led this Premadvani prayers. It is very nice and to hear your voice when you are doing all this.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Okay, so we shall move on to the next part. So, dear devotees, if you're all happy, we shall hand over the session to Vipinia Vihari Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, it's all yours now, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Amoga Prabhu. Hare Krishna, all devotees. It's quite a lot there. I'm not gonna mention all the names in the interest of time. But very happy to see you all. Some of you are new to me. Some of you we've been knowing each other for years, and we are, getting to be more closer and closer. Very inspiring again to see the Sangha going on solidly for years. I think probably it's the 4th year going online following COVID. But anyway, very nice to see you all, and very inspiring to see you all together, still going strong in this Sangha. Even though we can't meet so regularly face to face, we are at least using this technology to have some association. And I do know that you're all having Sangha meetings every morning, and a couple more during the weekdays, Kirtan and Sham Gudivada Prabhu doing the Krishna book, and on Saturday and on Sunday also. Saturday Krishna Club, and Saturday evening for our Sangha. So it's a privilege again for me to be back again to do some katha, which I've missed for many months for some different reasons. But hopefully by Krishna's mercy, I will be able to, do some seva to you all a bit more regularly. We'll see what Hare Bol, Hare Krishna. We'll see what Krishna decides. If you wish, and devotee's mercy and Gopal's mercy, hopefully I'll be doing a bit more regularly, because I feel very, guilty that I haven't been able to do as much as I would like to do recently. But somehow or other, I'm here, and by your mercy and devotee's mercy and Guru Parampara Srila Prabhupada's mercy, we'll continue to talk about Bhagavad-gita and share some realizations, all of us together. So I understand that we are now in chapter 18. We have reached verse 43, which is talking about the Varnas and the different classification in the Varnashram society, especially in the social orders. So I'm going to recap a little bit on verse 42, and also just to talk a little bit generally on this particular chapter. We have reached chapter 18. Just to say that this chapter is actually very, very elevated. It is very complex. It is not that straightforward. And with the intelligence, at least for me, I'm talking limited intelligence, it is very difficult to explain this chapter, especially going deeper and deeper into the topics. I feel like I'm a dwarf trying to catch the moon when I'm trying to talk about this chapter, because it is such an elevated chapter. Our acharyas have commented extensively on this chapter. Baldev Vidyabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they have commented extensively, and Srila Prabhupada, of course, commented extensively in this chapter. When I was reading the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Baladev Vidyabhushan, I was actually lost in the middle of everything. I didn't know where I started and where I reached, because they were talking of such deep subject matter. But this is just to make you aware that, yes, the Bhagavad-gita is for beginners, but this chapter is the cream of the cream, and is very complex and intricated. But having said that, it is complex for those who haven't got the intelligence to understand. But I'm sure and I'm confident that you all will be able to read and understand this. I'm talking to myself. We will come to a point where I will talk about this, why it is actually one of the highest subject matter in the Bhagavad-gita. This chapter has been, the title of this chapter is actually, Prabhupada gives the title as conclusion, the perfection of renunciation. And the Sanskrit translation in the previous editions of different acharyas, the chapter is called Moksha Yoga. Moksha Yoga. So basically, it is actually the chapter which talks about moksha, which is the ultimate. This is what everyone is after. Everyone wants to achieve moksha, and to learn about moksha is best to hear from the one who gives moksha, and the one who gives moksha is Mukunda. Mukti dadati iti Mukunda. One who gives moksha is called Mukunda. So we will hear from Mukunda himself, from Krishna himself, in this chapter. So in the beginning, Arjun talks about clarification about sannyas, about tyag, and Krishna starts to explain what is the difference between sannyas and what is the difference between tyag. And then he goes on to explain that there is different kinds of activities. There is sacrifice, there is charity, there is work, there is intelligence, there is determination. And Krishna actually starts with explanation of sannyas and tyag, and gradually moves into explaining what is charity, what is work, what is sacrifice. And he explains that these, and intelligence and determination and work and knowledge and the knower, and all this. So it is quite a lot. So this is all the previous verses have been discussed all about this. So I will not repeat because I'm sure you've all gone into this. And Krishna actually talks about, goes into deeper, and it talks about the different modes which actually governs these different activities, the different charities in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, work in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, intelligence, the mode of passion, ignorance, and goodness. So it goes on and talks about all this. It takes a long time to actually go into each and every section. So I'm just giving you an overview of what has been discussed so far. And one thing which we are coming to now, Krishna is talking about a subject which is one of the most important subject in not only the Bhagavadgita, but in our Vedic Shastra. And this subject matter is actually has been prevalent since creation. So in the beginning of creation, we have the five material elements. From the five material elements, you have I'm talking of earth, water, fire, either air, and then this gradually comes into the sense objects, and then the internal, the working senses, and then the knowledge acquiring senses, and then mind, intelligence, false ego, and the pradhan, which is the unmanifested consciousness. Remember, this is all coming from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, before creation. All this happens, all this are manifested, which means Vishnu is through the medium of Brahma, is actually create the five material elements first. And through the five material elements, you have all the senses, you know, like Shabdam, Sparsham, Rupam, Gandham, and all this, like objects of the senses, which means scent, object to see, object to touch, object to hear, object to smell, and all this. And then the senses come about, which is the gross senses, which means the nose, ears, eyes, tongue, the walking sensor, which is the hands, arms, legs, genitals, rectums, and all that. And this is a subject matter in its own, so I'm not going into too much details into that. But what I'm coming to, I'm saying that there is something called the 24 material elements. Pratihi kriyamanani guna karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manyate. So eventually, all this prakriti, the material nature, is doing everything, but the soul is thinking he is the doer. Yeah? And Krishna also says, Madhyadhyakshina prakriti suyasesa characharam hetunane konteya jagat viparivartate. Which means everything has been created by me. This material world has been created by me. So, and then he talks about all these elements, 24 elements. After the 24 elements have been created, the living entity is there. For the living entity to act, there should be two. So the material world is created. All these elements are there, the earth, water, fire, either air, and everything. The world is created. And Krishna glances, and the living entities the material nature is impregnated with the living entities. Now the living entities are there. And what are they going to do? How are they going to act? Now, following this, this is where the gunas, the modes of material nature. Now, with the past karmas and the past activities of the living entities in previous birth, the living entities have acquired impressions, sanskar, or vasana. So these vasanas, which means activities which they have done in the past, and there's an impression in the subtle body, which means in the mind, intelligence, or false ego, they will carry this in their future lives until this vasana is exhausted, which means until they have to force to act. And when they act based on the impressions on the previous life, for example, I'll give you a simple example. If somebody has been engaging in eating meat, for example, so they will have to come and take birth in a body which will fulfill that desires which they have acquired in the past to eat meat. So they will come in a body of an animal which eat meat, for example, a tiger. Once that happens, that vasana is fulfilled, and then that's cleared. But the issue is one should not be accumulating more vasanas, which eventually become stronger and stronger and become a sanskar. For example, if you take a piece of a paper and a pen, we write one line on it, and then we write another line on it. We write another line on it, we keep writing, and this becomes thicker and thicker and thicker. We take an eraser, we want to erase it. We will have to apply more force to be able to erase a thicker line. But if it was a thin line, if you use less force with the eraser, that line will disappear. So what I'm trying to say here, if we keep repeating the same thing again, life after life after life after life, this vasana, these impressions, which will eventually develop into a sanskar. Sanskar means a habit, which will be difficult to erase. So what actually pushes the living entity to act in this world is the modes. And the modes are part of the creation. The mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance, the three gunas, are the elements which actually forces the living entities to act in this world. Now, if the living entities are impregnated in this world and then they just remain there doing nothing, that will not make sense. The living entities have to act. That's why they're put into this material world, because they had a desire to lord over Krishna, to be the boss, to be Ishvara, to be a controller. So Krishna has put them in an environment where they can fulfill this. How this is fulfilled is through the influence of the modes of material nature. Now, the modes are there, but there is something else which has to be there for these to act on the living entity, and that's kala. Kala is time. So if there is a beginning and an end during this time, this is when the living entity will have to act under the influence of the modes. So there should be a beginning and an end. So this is where time factor comes in, which means the beginning of the living entity going into a material body where he has the facility to execute those activities under the influence of the modes. And at the end, the body is perishable, it ends, and then it takes another life in another body. And this goes on. So this is the influence of the modes. This is the beginning of creation. And there's time factor for the living entity to have a time to act during these modes. Now, Krishna has brought this in this chapter. This is why I was trying to give you a little bit of background where we are coming. This is a subject matter which is extremely important in our Vedic Shastra, not only in the Bhagavadgita, because this is how this world is functioning. This is how everybody is. There's some people who are interested more into religiosity, into acquiring knowledge, into engaging in good activities, truthfulness, honesty. But there are some individuals who are engaged in running after acquiring objects which will satisfy the senses, constant running and running and running and running. And there are some individuals who are, they don't even know what they're doing. They're completely lost in this world, and they are just involved in engaging in activities which are against religiosity. So different types. There are different types. This is what is running this world. And that's the influence of the modes of material nature. There's a lot to talk about the modes, but I think I will go into the subject now. But before I go into a bit more into the Gita, what Krishna is saying, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. I will share the screen, and just for us to know what the modes we're talking about and what is happening here in the Bhagavad Gita. So I'm going to share the screen. Please bear with me. Okay. So, right. So, right. Everybody's able to see that?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
Can I increase little bit font size?
Let me see how to do that.
Just little.
Prabhu, I'm really sorry. I don't know where to do that.
On the top right corner.
That's the one. Right, there you are.
Yeah, you can top or bottom corner.
There you are. Okay.
And
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Okay.
now is
Is better?
now is, yeah, now is better. Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to catch up a little bit and just to highlight what is the modes about before we go into the subject. So here, Krishna is saying in chapter 14, chapter 14, verse 6, Krishna is saying, O sinless one, referring to Arjuna, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, which means it gives enlightenment. It frees one from all sinful reactions. Okay. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Now, there's a good point here. The mode of goodness, which is considered to be, out of the three modes, considered to be the best mode, but at the same time, they condition the soul. How do they do that? If we translate this modes of good modes, different modes, they are called actually, the modes means guna. Guna. Guna actually means qualities, and guna also means rope. Guna means rope. So whether it's mode of goodness, whether it's mode of passion, or whether it's mode of ignorance, they are rope. Even the mode of goodness is a rope. It's a shackle. You can tell it rope, or you want to say it's a shackle, or it's a chain, whatever it is. Now, in our Vedic Shastra, the different modes are analyzed as the mode of goodness is considered to be a golden chain, golden shackle, or a golden rope. The mode of passion is considered to be a silver chain, or a silver rope, or shackle, whatever you want to say. And the mode of ignorance is considered to be an iron chain, made of iron. But at the end of the day, they are all three of them are ropes. So which means they hold us back in this material nature. Difficult for us to get out. Now, you might question why mode of goodness, which is being encouraged throughout the Vedic Shastra and which is being encouraged in the Bhagavadgita, is also a rope. How does that hold us back? So does that mean one shouldn't be following this? Well, the answer to this question is, the mode of goodness is not the ultimate, because above the three modes, we have Vishuddha Sattva, which means pure goodness. I will come to that in a minute. This mode of goodness, what happens when somebody is situated in a mode of goodness, like enlightenment, knowledge of the scripture, peacefulness, religiosity, there is a sense of, oh, I have achieved it. I have got it. I have achieved what I wanted to have. I'm situated in the mode of goodness. The moment we have this feeling, that's where the rope acts and holds us back. Somebody who's placed in the mode of goodness will have this sense of feeling. And this sense of feelings, where Krishna says here, happiness and knowledge, this is what will hold us back. So even though it is mode of goodness, sattvic lifestyle, sattvic food, sattvic, charity, work, and all that is encouraged throughout the scriptures, but at the same time, it holds us back, because when somebody feels they're situated in this mode, we've got it. When we have this feeling, we're being held back by the material nature. So it's not the ultimate. The ultimate is Vishuddha Sattva, which means one has to go beyond this. Now, why do we encourage sattvic lifestyle? Why do we encourage mode of goodness? The example is given. If you want to go to For example, you go to India, you can't sit at home and wait for the airplane to come and pick you and take you to India. You have to go to the airport. Now, from the airport, this is where you catch the plane to go to India. So this mode of goodness is like the airport. So for one to get Vaikuntha, to the spiritual world, one has to go to that airport. One has to reach there first. From there, this is where we get access to Vishuddha Sattva, which means pure goodness. So one has to encourage a sattvic lifestyle to be able to access Vishuddha Sattva. If one is not there, one will not be able to access Vishuddha Sattva. So one has to progress from mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and have to get to mode of goodness. So that's why the Vedic Shastra, Bhagavadgita, and Krishna encourages a sattvic lifestyle, which means one has to imbibe the qualities of Satogun to be able to eventually progress further. Satogun is the airport, is where we the launching pad, as we say. This is where when you are there, you're able to go across and access Vishuddha Sattva and be situated in pure goodness. So that's why throughout the Vedic Shastra, sattvic lifestyle, mode of goodness is always encouraged. And this has been discussed in the previous chapters, so I'm not going to go too much in detail into it. That's why the way we eat, the way we work, the way we do charity, the way we acquire knowledge, the way we learn, all these things have to be governed by the sattvic nature, by the mode of goodness. This is what he's saying here. Krishna is saying mode of goodness is purer than the others, it's illuminating and is free from all sinful reactions. I'll go to the next one very quickly. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti. And because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. The mode of passion is basically, we want more and more and more and more and more. And this is governed by lust. Why? Kamesha, Krodhesha, Rajogun Samudbhavaha, Mahashano Mahapapma, Vidhinam, Avainam. So this mode of passion, the root of it is lust. Lust is not only desire for the opposite gender. Lust actually means we want more and more and more and more and the desire. And when we have this desire, we actually want to have more, and we are entangled in this mode of passion, and mode of goodness is left behind. Bhagavad Gita is left behind. Srimad Bhagavatam is left behind. Satsanga is left behind. Everything is left behind. And we're just entangled in this mode of passion. We want more. We want more money. We want a bigger house, a bigger car. We got everything big, 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 big. And we lost everything. This is a mode of passion. And the next one is, O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness, born of ignorance, is of delusion of all embodied living entities. So which means that person is completely in darkness, is completely ignorant of everything, no knowledge of Shastra, no knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, no knowledge of Krishna's instructions, is completely deluded, they're completely in a different world, and they feel that they don't need any progress for enlightenment. They just want to stay where they are. They don't want to do anything. They're happy with what we got. Well, the result is, this is madness. You know, if somebody is, like we say, somebody is mad, things they do, they're mad. I just want to mention something very quickly. When there was this COVID outbreak, I don't know, maybe I'm sure you remember that there was a rush for toilet papers. There was a rush for toilet papers. So now, if there is an outbreak and you're likely to die with this virus and people are going for toilet papers, can you imagine how low or how ignorant people are? And they were fighting for toilet papers. Now, this is what is mode of ignorance. If somebody is drowning and you want to, for example, look for your mobile phone while you're driving because I want to check my social media, that's madness, isn't it? So if you're going to die because of a virus and you're running for toilet papers and causing havoc and breaking stores and shops and stealing and all that because there's a virus, is that not madness? This is madness. This shows how people are grossly in tamogun. This is tamogun, you know. So this is what Krishna is saying. The results of this mode is madness, indolence, you know, so we don't know what we are doing, and sleep, constantly sleeping, being lazy, being lethargic, don't want to read, don't want to go to the temple, don't want to wake up early. We just want to, you know, just be like a lump of matter, doing nothing, and don't know what's happening in this world, and just be focused on what we want, which bind the conditioned soul. So this very quickly highlighted what are the three modes. Now, coming back to our subject. Sorry, I took a bit of time on this. I apologize for that, but I thought that it was important that I give a little bit of background to this. So how do I move this one now? Okay. Right. So, right. So now coming back to our subject matter, which is the Bhagavad Gita, which we were discussing, which we have come to. So Krishna, after talking about sannyas and tyag and charity and work and knowledge and sacrifice with the different modes, Krishna says to Arjun, Arjun, these modes will actually force you to act in this world. And whether you like it or not, you are a Kshatriya, and you will have to be influenced. You will be influenced by these modes, and you will have to act. You will be forced to act, right? And here in this verse, now, is anyone would like to actually read this verse, please? Just for me to have a break. Anyone? Any volunteer?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can read for you.
Haribol Mataji, Haribol, yes, please.
Samudamastapa socham shantir arjavamev cha jnanam vijnanamastikhyam brahma karma svabhavajam.
Jai, Haribol, thank you, Mataji. Do you want to read the translation, please?
I can read the translation, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness, the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas walk.
Yes.
Sorry, Prabhu, I missed because of I couldn't see this in the screen. Let me do it again.
Okay.
Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas walk.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhu. Haribol. Now, I just want to jump back to verse 40 very quickly. Now, I was mentioning to you earlier that there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is freed from these three modes born of material nature. Now, we have to remember that this material nature influenced the material world, and the demigods are part of the material world as well. So even the demigods are influenced by this material nature, by these three modes. So let's go to our... Now, here, Krishna is saying that Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are distinguished by their qualities of work. I'm sure you have discussed this in the previous weeks, so I will not go there. O chastiser of the enemy, in accordance with the modes of nature. So, the Brahmana, the Kshatriya, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras are distinguished by their work and by their qualities. So, qualities of their work. So, here, we have to remember one thing. when Krishna was here and talking and giving instructions on this Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, the Varnashrama system was the system which was prevalent. Varnashrama means the 4 Varnas and the 4 Ashrama. So Varna means the qualities, which means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudras, the Varnas, and then the 4 Ashram, which means the Sannyasa Ashram, Brahmacharya Ashram, Grihastha Ashram, and the Vanaprastha Ashram. So these were prevalent at that time, and all these instructions given by Krishna to Arjun is in the background of this. The Varnashrama system was there, and this was how the world was functioning. And Krishna is saying here that these modes of nature affects everyone, including the demigods, because they are part of this material world. And you are also part of this material world, and you are a Kshatriya, and you will be influenced by these modes as well. And he says, the Brahmanas, the qualities of the Brahmanas is peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. Now, I was mentioning earlier about the sanskara, about the vasanas and all that. These qualities of the Brahmanas or Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, they actually comes from their previous birth. These are the qualities which has been acquired from the previous birth, and this will manifest in their subsequent lifetimes. So somebody who is meant to be a Brahmana, they will have this tendency to be peaceful, self-control, austerity. We'll go into each of them in a bit of details in a minute. They will go for this, but at the same time, the tendency are there, but at the same time, they will need some training as well. So training is also important. Someone who wants to be a Brahmana needs to go for the training under the guidance of a guru. While under the guidance of the guru, these qualities will manifest, which whether they are Brahmana, whether they're going to the Brahmana tendency, Kshatriya tendency, Vaishya, or Shudra, these will manifest. And the Vedic scripture agree that these are coming from the previous birth. It will manifest into the previous birth because there are instances. They will give you an example. When Prabhupada was here, Prabhupada established this Gurukul system. In 1970, Dallas was the first Gurukul Prabhupada established, and then it spread throughout the world eventually. So devotees were asking Prabhupada, this boy or these boys, they are not willing to learn, they're not willing to sit down and learn the shlokas, and not willing to wake up early. They are not willing to attend arati or do arati. So what do we do with this? What's happening? And Prabhupada was very clear on this, that, their qualities are mostly not Brahmanas, so they should be diverted to other activities, which means they might become Kshatriya, or they might be more comfortable in agriculture, working, farm, all this. Or if they can't do that, they might be more suitable for being servants or laborers or serving the other Varnas. So these people who wants to be Brahmana needs to go for a training, but during this training, this Swabhava will actually surface. Like Krishna says here, Swabhavajam, born of his own nature. So the nature will surface, and this is actually acquired from the previous birth. Now, there's also people, even though they haven't got the qualities from previous birth, under rigorous training, they can become Brahmana as well, but this is very rare. This is very rare. Generally, the scriptures agrees that this is coming from the previous verse, previous birth. Karanam gunasangasya sad asad yodi janmashu, Bhagavad-Gita says, which means Karanam gunasangasya sad asad yodi janmashu, which means association with the different modes in the previous life, they are put into different wombs in the subsequent lives. So if you are qualities of mode of darkness, ignorance, you're put in different wombs, and or you're born as different persons with different qualities because it's of the association you had in your previous life of different gunas, right? Karanam gunasangasya sad asad yoni janmashu. Bhagavad-Gita says that. So here we're talking of the Brahmana, which is born of their own nature. So the qualities they have acquired. Peacefulness. Now, this peacefulness actually, does it mean somebody who is quiet or doesn't talk much, or is someone who is gentle, has got the quality of peacefulness? Peacefulness actually means in a state of extreme disturbance, when this person is subjected to disturbance for the body, for the mind, or the senses are being disturbed, that person remain equiposed, remain in equilibrium. He doesn't move, he doesn't shift, he always remain peaceful and doesn't act or react according to what's being thrown at him. That's peacefulness. So that's internal peacefulness, which means the mind has to be sama. That's what sama means. That's where the word samadhi comes from. Samadhi means one who is equiposed, one who is actually not disturbed by external factors, and he's just focused on what he has to do. And even though the senses are being disturbed, or the mind is being disturbed, or the body is being disturbed, the person doesn't shift, doesn't move. They stay peaceful. Peaceful in what? Peaceful in their focus, in their samadhi, focus in their objective, in their goal, which means eventually to please Krishna. Dhammas. Dhammas means self-control. Self-control means, we have the working senses, we have the knowledge acquiring senses, 5 of them. The knowledge acquiring senses are the eyes, the nostrils, the ears, the tongue, sense of touch, knowledge acquiring senses. So through that, we see Krishna's deity, we smell Krishna's flowers, we taste Krishna's prasadam, we hear Krishna katha, we hear Krishna kirtan, and then we use our touch to decorate Krishna's body. So all this, this is the knowledge acquiring senses. So if you want to get enlightenment, we have to use these senses to please Krishna, all these senses to please Krishna, like Ambarish Maharaj did. There's various famous prasanga, episode in the Bhagavatam where Ambarish Maharaj is talking about how he engages all of his body in Krishna's service. This is the benchmark. This is what we have to aim for. So when it comes to Dhamma, the Brahmana should be able to actually control their knowledge acquiring senses, which I've just mentioned, and their working senses, which means the 2 arms, 2 legs, and the genitals, and the power of vaka. Vaka means talking. 2 legs, 2 heads, hands, arms, genitals, and rectum, and the vaka, which means talking. This has to be under control, which means one has to talk about Krishna, one has to use our hands to serve Krishna, to serve devotees, one has to use our legs to walk to the temple, to see Krishna on parikrama, on tirtha, go to see Krishna. Our rectum, we have to use this to actually remove all the impurities on our body, genitals for procreation for devotees, and also to remove all the impurities in our body. So this is sattvic lifestyle. This is what the Brahmana are meant to do. And austerity. Austerity is actually whatever the scriptures prescribed, whether it's painful or not painful, the Brahmana has to follow them to do the details. The Brahmana has to follow what's recommended in the scripture to the details, and whether it's painful, whether it's comfortable, whether it gives pleasure, or whether it's plain, the Brahmana needs to follow the recommendation of the scriptures and all the instructions given, and whatever has been prescribed for them as Brahmana, they should be following them without any hesitation, even if it gives pleasure or pain. That's austerity. Actually, it is said a Brahmana generally is meant to not acquire wealth, but whatever they have acquired in dakshina or donation or whatever it is, they need to quickly use them so that they don't get attached to it. They have to use them in Krishna's service. So they don't have any wealth. They don't have any wealth. So for the Brahmanas, the only wealth which they have is austerity. The wealth of the Brahmins are austerities. So this is what the wealth they've got. And the Brahmanas are meant to follow this, religiously. And purity. Purity is, how do you call this? We get a water filter so that the water is filtered and we get the best water, the cleanest water, and we have a shower morning and evening, and we are pure. No, that's not purity. If we think this is purity, that's a very, very, very low level of understanding. Purity actually means internal purity, internal purity and external purity. So this external purity, one has to keep our body, always very clean. In the morning, wake up, have our, our routine to clean our body, and all the 9 holes we have in the body needs to be cleaned, because according to our Vedic Shastra, during the night, these 9 holes get accumulated by dirt and impurities, and these have to be cleaned every day, every morning. And sannyasis, for example, they have to take bath 3 times a day. Brahmana are meant to have bath at least 2 times a day. But one has to maintain the body and keep the body pure. That's external purity. And that purity doesn't only stops here. Purity is also internal purity, which means our heart, our the 6 enemies we have: man, moh, kam, lobha, moh, matsarya, which means lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, and jealousy, and all that. All this are inside us, and one has to clean this. One has to get this out. And also, when we talk about impurities and what's the word that's escaping me, all the dirt we have in our heart, that's what we're talking about. Man, moh, kama, lobha, moh, matsarya. All this has to go. How do we do that? Mahaprabhu has given us the instructions on how to do it. I'm sure anyone would like to say what's the instruction? Anyone? No?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
The question is, Mahaprabhu has given us the most easiest way how to keep our internal cleanliness.
Oh, chanting.
Yeah, that is Maha Mantra.
Holy name.
Holy name.
Cheto darpanamajanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam shreya chandrika vitarnam vidyavadhu jivanam anandam buddhivardhanam patipalam purnamita swadanam sarvatma Krishna Sankirtanam. Isn't it?
Yeah, Sankirtanam.
Krishna Sankirtanam. So the best way to actually clean ourselves is through the process of chanting. Internal. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So Krishna Sankirtanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So this is what Mahaprabhu has recommended, that if we want to clean that mirror of dust, which is the mirror of our heart, Cheto Darpana. The Darpana, which means the mirror, Marjanam, to clean it, one has to do Krishna Sankirtanam. This is the recommended way for Kali Yuga. Sankirtanam, Krishna Sankirtan. So purity is not only having a bath, a shower, but it's also to these impurities we talked about has to be clean as well. And this doesn't only apply for a Brahmin, but it applies for everyone. Yeah? And that's what purity is about. That's what it is. And tapaha. Oh, I will talk about tapaha. Kshantihi, tolerance. 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 The definition given by the Vedic Shastra about tolerance is sahanam sarva dukhanam. Sahanam sarva dukhanam, which means the Brahmana should be able to tolerate all the pain, whether pain inflicted by the mind, by the body, or by the senses. One has to be able to tolerate. Or if somebody gives some, some uncomfortable, we hear something uncomfortable, or we see something uncomfortable, or we are placed in a situation where we are uncomfortable. This is tolerance. All the pains, all the direct pains which are inflicted to the Brahmana, they should be able to tolerate that. And as you can see, there's not much difference between austerity, but austerity is more of the instructions given by the Shastras, whether it's good or bad, whether it's painful or not, the Brahmana has to follow. But tolerance is any external factors which is inflicted to the Brahmana has to follow, has to actually tolerate all this. Arjavam, honesty. Now, this is a very interesting one. Honesty. Honesty actually means, Arjavam actually means straightforward. It means straightforward. And honesty means what the mind think, we should talk. What goes in the mind, what we think in the mind, we should be able to talk the same thing. And what we are talking, we should be able to do that as well. This is honesty. So there's a free way. So what we think, say for example, we think about somebody. We have to talk about it. Say, oh, I feel about this person like this. We talk about it. And I want to help him. I want to associate with him, or I want to support him, or whatever it is. And we have to do it. And this is honesty. This is what's called arjavam, honesty. It's not that you think something, you talk something, and then you do something else. That is not honesty. This is dishonesty. Because you're thinking something else about that person. You're talking something completely different, and then you do something completely. This is not honesty. It sounds like the politicians, isn't it? The politicians are like this. But anyway, not only politicians. Unfortunately, the whole world is like this. This arjavam is not there. This honesty is not there. So whatever we think in the mind, we have to talk it, and whatever we are talking, we have to do it. This is arjavam. And by the way, this word arjavam, Arjun's name actually comes from this arjavam, because as a Kshatriya, you have to be straightforward. No negotiation, as we say. There should be no negotiation. You've broken the rules, you have to get the consequences, and the Kshatriya will act on it. So Arjun's name actually comes from this straightforward, honesty. And then Eva, certainly, jnanam, knowledge. Okay, the Brahmana should be engaged in cultivating knowledge and should be engaged in acquiring scriptural knowledge and reading the Shastra all the time, and engaging in all his knowledge acquiring senses, basically, in engaging in getting more and more and more knowledge. So this is what the Brahmana should actually be doing, you know. So accumulating knowledge, scriptural knowledge, religious knowledge, right? And Vijnanam. Vijnanam is actually wisdom or practical application of this knowledge. So what the Brahmana is learning through the scriptures, the Brahmana has to put it into practice as well. Not only keeping it, but actually to act on it and to practice it and to put it in their own lives and present it in action. That's actually a Brahmana's duty. To whatever they've acquired through scriptural instructions, they should actually present it in their own life and practical application of knowledge, wisdom. And astikyam. So obviously the Brahmana needs to be very religious, which means they should be engaging in religious activities, which means activities which are in line with the scriptures. They should be following the scriptures and promoting this religiousness as well. Brahma. So this is the natural qualities of the Brahman. Now, very quickly on this, the definition of a Brahmana is actually a Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, which means Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, which means one who has realized Brahman, which means the impersonal aspect of Krishna. One who has realized this is supposed to be a Brahman. Now you have to remember, there are Vaishnava Brahmins, there are Shaiva Brahmins, there are Mayavadi Brahmins as well. So yes, the Brahmanas are on a high level, as we can see. They are on a high level. They have all these attributes with them. The Vaishnava Brahmanas, of course, they have got knowledge of Krishna, as opposed to the Shaiva Brahmanas and the Mayavadi Brahmanas, where they haven't got that, but they have got these qualities. This is possible. It's not impossible. So we have got Brahmins who are Mayavadis, and Brahmana who are Shaivas, and Brahmana who are Vaishnavas. Now, the thing is, one should not be aiming to be a Brahmana. One should not be aiming to be a... Okay, one should try to get all these qualities, but the aim should not be to become a Brahmana. The aim should be to become a Bhakta. The aim should be to become a devotee. That should be the aim of someone practicing Krishna consciousness. It should not be to become a Brahmana. Because my Guru Maharaj says, if you want to practice bhakti, you don't have to be a Brahman. You can be someone who's not a Brahman and just be a devotee. Because a devotee has gone far beyond a Brahmana. Much more far beyond. You know, I mean, you probably know the story of Shuchi and Muchi, which means the cobbler and the Brahmana. So, you know, long story cutting it short, the cobbler was convinced that Krishna can get an elephant for the eye of a needle, but the Brahmana was not convinced that Krishna could get the elephant for the eye of a needle, because he hasn't gone that stage of bhakti that Krishna can do everything, you know. So that's a long story, but I'm just cutting it short in the interest of time. That proves that a Brahmana is not the ultimate, is a devotee. The devotee is far beyond a Brahmana, but a Brahmana can be a devotee also. This, what we are learning about the Brahmana today, is actually a snapshot of the qualities of Brahmana. If we go into the Bhagavatam, the Brahmana is something completely different. The Brahmana, Krishna says in the Bhagavatam, I worship the Brahmana. This is how, this is the position Krishna gives to Brahmana. I worship the Brahmana because they have reached such a high level, you know. But the devotee are even more. Krishna says, I'm the servant of the devotee. So the Brahmana is not the ultimate. That's what I'm trying to say. There's more than that, and that's the devotee. That's the bhakta. I'll quickly go to the next verse. I've got 3 minutes. Now, going to the Kshatriyas. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. Okay. Now, as we know, heroism. So a Kshatriya goes into battle to win. Even though they're not, for example, they haven't got the power or they haven't got the strength, they're fighting somebody much more stronger than them, they go to the battle to win. So they have this heroic, courageous type of, mentality when they go in the battle. They have power. They are meant to have physical power. They're meant to be strong, stout, and strong, and big, and tall, and ready to get any type of adversities. This is how they are. They're powerful. They're determined. They're determined when, if they set a goal, for example, they are determined to achieve that goal. Unlike Arjuna. Unlike Arjuna in the beginning saw his uncle, cousins, friends, families on the opposite side, and he dropped his Gandiva and he said to Krishna, I can't do this. And Krishna is saying, what are you doing? This is not the quality of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya should be determined, whether it's family or friends or enemies in front. If he needs to fight, he has to face the battle. So this is what Krishna started the Bhagavadgita. And we will see in the end, Arjuna says to Krishna, Krishna says to Arjuna, yet I've said so many things to you. And then he said, yet Icha se tatha kuru. Arjuna, now you choose whatever you want. I've told you this. If you want to fight, you fight. If you don't want to fight, you don't fight. And what Arjuna says, Karishe vachanam tava. Krishna, I will do what you have said. I will fight. Because this wasn't the quality of Arjuna. Arjuna is a Kshatriya. One of the most powerful Kshatriya the world has ever known is Arjuna. But he wasn't determined. And Krishna said, this is not your quality. You will have to fight. And Krishna fought. And Arjuna fought. Resourcefulness. So if a Kshatriya is faced with a situation where there's no option for them to get out of a situation, they are able to find something and to get out of this difficult situation. This is how a Kshatriya should be. Courage in battle. So they should always be courageous. They should not be someone who sees the opposite forces in front of them and run away. They should not be doing this. They should actually, whatever it is, they should fight. The story of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was, I'm sure you all know, Abhimanyu there was a setup for him to get into this Chakravyuha, which was Chakravyuha is basically an arrangement of the soldiers so that the opposite, the enemy get trapped inside and not able to get out. But Abhimanyu knew how to get in, but he didn't know how to get out. That's a long story again, because when Krishna was explaining to his mother, he didn't catch that. Anyway, that's a different story. But he couldn't get out. But he wasn't afraid. He went in and he fought. He fought single-handedly against all these Maharathis, Jarasandha, Duryodhana, Dushasana, Bhima, and all that. He fought, without losing courage until he lost his life. And this is a Kshatriya. This is the nature of a Kshatriya. And generosity, which means be able to give more when it's needed, without any hesitation. The Kshatriya is able to give to whoever is coming to ask for donation or for some help. You know, there's so many instances in actually in our scriptures, and leadership. So this leadership, so one has to have these natural qualities to actually stand and lead and manage the country, a community, or an army, or whatever it is. So these Kshatriyas are actually those who are more into the management type of things, and are able to, you know, lead those who are under their protection, especially the Vaishyas and the Shudras. They should be able to lead. But of course, this is all done alongside the instructions of the scriptures. There's a list of them, especially in the Manusmriti, where it talks about all the qualities and the work of the Kshatriyas. And this word Kshatriya actually comes, you know, Kshatriya Trayate iti Kshatriya, which means one who is able to transcend dangers. Kshatriya means dangers, like the word Khatra came from this in Hindi. Kshatriya Trayate, which means to transcend this or to go over this. Sa iti Kshatriya. This is the Kshatriya, one who is able to, you know, take away dangers and protect those who are subordinate to them, which mean the Vaishyas and the Brahmanas and the Shudras, those who are below them. They are able to actually protect them. So these are the qualities Krishna is talking about in the Bhagavad Gita in relation to Kshatriyas. Again, this is coming up from the modes of different modes, Sattvic, Tamas, and Rajas. And because of these modes, for example, the Brahmana, I forgot to mention that the Brahmanas are more predominantly the Sattvic, and then nobody in this world, whether Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, are free from the three modes, but they have got more of one quality than the less. So the Brahmanas are more predominantly Sattvic, and then less of passion, you know, Rajas, and little bit of Tamas. Why I'm saying little bit is that because one of the predominant qualities of tamas is sleep, and everyone has to sleep. The Brahmana have to sleep also, so the tamas should be there for the Brahmanas, even for the Kshatriyas, you know, because if you don't sleep, you know, you will get, if you don't sleep for 2 or 3 nights, you will get into a state of delusion. You will get hallucination. So the body needs sleep. One of the Sharira Dharma of the body, the Sharira Dharma is to sleep, to clean, to feed, to evacuate. All this is Sharira Dharma. So one has to do this. So the sleep factor is also for the Brahmana. So a bit of tamas will be there as well. For the Kshatriya is more predominantly the mode of passion, anger, fighting, leading, working, administering. This is the modes of the passion. And there will be tamas, as I mentioned. There will be mode of goodness also, because Brahmanas are involved in study of the scriptures as well, like Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Kripacharya. They were all, you know, Kshatriyas, but they were studying the scripture as well. For example, they were studying Dhanurveda, which means art of warfare, and all this. So it will be there. And I've got 4 minutes. Amolga Prabhu, should I stop here, or I know there should be some question and answer, isn't it? Should I think I'll stop here.
Yes, as you feel comfortable to complete that verse, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Well, if I'm comfortable, I would rather finish the next one. But if you feel that I have to stop, I will stop. I go according to what you say, because I know there should be some question and answers.
I think yes, Prabhuji. So we can, yeah, as you feel comfortable. Yeah,
Okay, let's stop here, because from what I have mentioned, I'm 100% sure there will be some questions. So let's stop here. And if anyone has any questions, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can you hear me?
Hello, Prabhu. Hari Bol, please. Yes.
Prabhu, as you mentioned, this the Brahmana is not like we should be aimed for, like the devotee we should be aimed for, and devotee is much would have been better position or higher position than Brahmana. But this Brahmana, the story of the Munshi and Suchi, is it not something they are about who are false Brahmana, who are Brahmana, but they forgot exactly the Brahminical qualities and they think about their selves, in a positional aspect, rather than respecting the Param Brahma.
Yeah. These Brahmana are actually they're not advanced in devotion. That's what it is. They're not advanced in devotion. If a Brahmana, as I mentioned, is the qualities coming from the previous birth, and they exhibit these qualities and they engage in all these work which I've just mentioned. But there are different types of levels of Brahmana also, isn't it? Yeah. And so the story I was referring to is Brahmana who actually doesn't have full faith in the scripture, or hasn't reached the advanced level. The most advanced Brahmana are the Saraswati Brahmana, and like Rupa Goswami and others, they are the most advanced. So even in the Brahmana standard, there are different standards of Brahmanas, and so the one we're referring to, he wasn't advanced enough in devotion, but the cobbler was more advanced in devotion, even though he wasn't a Brahmana. Yep.
Yeah. It's basically the Brahmins who are, who forgot their Brahminical qualities. That are the,
no, they can have the qualities, but they're not advanced in devotion. Yeah, they have because I'll give you an example. Nowadays, you go to many temples, Hindu temples, and all these Brahmanas, they are carrying this thread. Now, that's why there's a lot to talk about Brahmana. This thread thing, thread, this Upanayanam, has got lots of significance. Yeah? If I ask you to carry a log of wood, can you describe to me how you will carry that log of wood? How would you carry that?
Yeah, Prabhu. But these Brahmana we are talking about, they are, they are Brahmana just by our class system. Yeah.
No, answer the question. I'm gonna explain to you what I mean by this. If I ask you to carry a log of wood, yeah,
we don't know, Prabhu.
Huh?
Is there a specific way to carry? Is it?
Well, okay, you will get it on your shoulder, no? Easier.
Yeah, like but no, yeah, just carrying a wood.
Okay. Generally speaking,
depends on how heavy is it. Yeah, on the shoulder or maybe armpit.
Okay, but generally speaking, when we carry a load, we are putting it on our shoulder, isn't it? So this thread, the Brahmana thread we're talking about, if you see, they are on the thread on the shoulder here. So this, what it means is that these Brahmana are carrying a responsibility. That's what it is. This Brahmana thread actually means they are carrying a responsibility. There's another meaning to it also, but that's so those Brahmanas, which we are saying, every day, whether they are caste system, whether they've come through the Pancharatrik Vidhi or Vedika Vidhi. The Pancharatrik Vidhi, for example, is you practice Krishna consciousness, you get your Diksha, and then after 2 years, your Guru gives you the Brahmana initiation, because it is understood that after 2 years, you have been under the guidance of the Guru, you follow the instructions, you have reached that level of purity to be able to become a Brahmana. That's the one route. The other route is the Vedika Vidhi, which means from the Gurukul system, you go and study the scriptures, like I was mentioning, and eventually you get graduated, and then you are given this Upanayanam, which means the graduation, and then the thread, and then you become a Brahmana. But the Brahmana we were talking about is those Brahmanas have got that responsibility, but they're not fulfilling that responsibility, which means because they haven't reached that level of understanding in bhakti. That's why they have it. But they have got the qualities, but they are not in that level. That's what it is. Let's put it the simple way. And the cobbler was more advanced in bhakti, even though he wasn't a Brahman. Even though he was working in a, that's what muchi means contaminated and impure, isn't it? Working with leather and all this. Yeah. So even though he was working with leather, he was more advanced. So put it in simple way, the Brahmana wasn't advanced enough, even though he has got those qualities.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. I hope whatever I've talked about has made sense and it's clear and it's free from any controversies and it has shed some light on this. I don't know, many you have no questions. If there's no questions for me, I take it two ways. Either you've understood everything 100%, or you haven't understood anything and you don't know what's going on here, what this man is talking about.
No,
So, I hope it's the first option.
I don't know, you explained very nicely and in a very elaborative way, made it real clear with a lot of examples. So
thank you.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, Bim Prabhu Haribol. Yeah, what Paulo Prabhu says is that absolutely, I like. I'm with him. Yes, is with the example you made it quite clear. So that's why I think maybe we are not asking any question. For that's my in fact is my case. But we are always blessed to have you with us, and Prabhu, and so much nectar from you, Prabhu. So grateful and thankful to you to come back again, Prabhu Haribol.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
It was a beautiful. Sorry, Prabhu. I'll just complete in 1 minute. Yeah. So it was so nice to have you back after many months, and this is a very important chapter, and how you wrapped it up like in 1 hour, explaining everything how from the universe evolved to the gunas, and relating it to more current one, the verses we are doing. I mean, what should be the responsibility of the different classes of society, like the Varnashram. It was so, yeah, as they mentioned, it's like it was very lucid to understand. So that's why we don't have questions. So yeah, thank you. I mean, we would have loved if you had just completed the next shlok and then given us a bit more of the next word.
Yeah, the next sloka also very much similar, Prabhu, isn't it? Yeah. It's a matter of time.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather say Vikamataji has got hands up. Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, yeah, it's lovely to hear from you again. It's just always so nice. I just wanted to ask one question about, like, what about people that flit between the different varnas, and also obviously we managed to protect ourselves from the three modes of the three gunas from chanting Lord's name, but obviously we're still entangled in them. What's the best way to kind of, because, like, you know, sometimes, you know, if we're with a group of people that are one way, naturally we pick up some of their good gunas, and then sometimes we're with a group of people that we're, you know, that we don't really relate to, but after a little while we sort of pick up their gunas as well. How do we best protect ourselves from and just remain in our own position?
Yeah.
So that's the first question. And then the second one, yeah, just what about when we flip between varnas? So sometimes we need leadership skills, so we go into one varna, and then sometimes we need another. Like, how do we, should we just stay in a constant one varna, or should we flip between them depending on what we need at the time?
Yeah. First question is how do we protect ourselves from those modes, and so that we don't get contaminated by them. Now, unfortunately, this is how this world is, but to be able to, let's say, counteract the effects of the lower modes, one has to associate even more with the higher modes, which means mode of goodness. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, we do understand that we have to work, we have to meet so many people, you know, and we have to see families and friends who are not devotees, who are the subject matter of what they talk is completely different to what we would like them to talk or what we talk. They're not into the same wavelengths of us as devotees, because we are much more into a different field, let's say, for example. And then how do we deal with this? Now, the answer to this question is one has to associate more with the higher modes, with the sattvic people. So if we are in situations where we are forced to be associating with those who are in the mode of tamas and rajas, we have to make sure that we have association in the modes of goodness as well. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says something very interesting in this matter. He says that one has to, I think it's come from the Dasa Mula Tattva, which means the 10 tattvas which devotees should adopt. I have to confirm that, but anyway, it comes from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. What he says is that devotees have that responsibility, that individual responsibility, to actually mold their life in such a way where it is conducive for Krishna consciousness. So whatever we are doing, we have to take a responsibility to make sure that we are not causing damage to our Krishna consciousness. Okay, so well, there are some unavoidable situations, like you have to associate with non-devotees, etc. But we have to, let's say, compensate by associating more with those who are in the mode of goodness. The answer to the question is more satsanga, more of association with reading the scriptures, hearing the scriptures, associating with sadhus, associating with devotees, engaging in devotional service, and you know, reading the scriptures and all this. So this is how we will be able to compensate the damage done, let's say, you know, for that argument's sake, damage done by associating with others. And at the end of the day, we have to leave it in Krishna's hands. Now, in the forthcoming verses, Krishna actually says that I'm going to give you the Sarva Guhyatamam. You know, Krishna says previously in chapter 9, he says, while you're on this, Mataji, I'll quickly just go to this verse, right? So now, this verse, Man mana bhava mad bhakto mam yaji mam namaskuru mam eva shashi yukta evam atmana mat parayana. Or engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. There's a very interesting talk on this. You know, hopefully I get to do that at some point. Well, what I'm trying to say, this verse comes back again in the 18th chapter. It comes further. So what Krishna is saying is that I'm going before this verse. Krishna says, it comes in verse 65. Maybe I can just quickly show you. 14 verse 65. 14, this one. No, 18, sorry. 18 verse 65. This is to answer your questions. Right. Look, the verse come again here. Right? Man mana bhava mad bhakto mam yaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam. Okay, this second part is different, but these first two lines are the same. Mam evashyasi satyam te patijane priyosi me. Now, Krishna is saying here, before that, he says that I'm going to tell you sarva guhyatamam, the most confidential knowledge. Now, we remember Krishna says in the middle of the Bhagavad-gita that I'm going to tell you the most confidential knowledge. He says again here, I can't remember which verse it is, somewhere on the chapter 18. He says, I'm going to tell you out of the most confidential knowledge, which are there, this is the most confidential knowledge, which means to surrender unto me. What he's saying, whatever you're doing, whatever activities you're doing, whatever work you're doing, Because the question will come, are we Kshatriya? Are we Vaishya? Are we Brahmana? What are we? You know, we don't even know. Most of us don't know what we are, you know. But the question is, so am I following what Krishna is saying? The Brahmanas have to do this, the Vaishya has to do this, the Shudra has to do this, you know, where do I fit in this? We don't know, right? So the question, that's why Krishna, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, after Krishna has given the instructions to Arjun, Arjun still feel that the question hasn't been answered. And then eventually Krishna says to him, because you're my friend, because you're very dear to me, I'm going to reveal now, out of the most confidential knowledge, that is the highest confidential knowledge, which is always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homages to me, thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you're my very dear friend. Now Arjun says, he says to Krishna, Krishna, you have promised something before. You have promised the gopis, when you go to Mathura, you will come back to Vraj, but you haven't come back. So how can I believe you? And Krishna says this next verse. Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion, just run me, I shall deliver you from all sins, do not fear. And then he says the next one also. Yeah, keeps going. Sorry, this is the most confidential. And then he one of those verses he says to me, this is what I'm saying, you know, don't worry about it, I will do it. You know, I can't remember which verse it is. But anyway, answering to your question, what I'm trying to say here is that Krishna is ultimately saying, whichever position you are, whichever work you're doing, whichever activities you're doing, just make sure you do it for me, right? So if you're engaging, if you're working or whatever it is, just make sure you're doing for Krishna, even though you are associating with people who are, you know, not Krishna conscious, who are sinful and all that. Arjun asked this question. Arjun says, but what about if when we are doing these activities for you and we're not able to, or there's some sinful actions which may come up, or we're not following the scriptures, the instruction of the scriptures fully? What happened to this? That's why Krishna says here that don't worry, I will take all the sin away from that. Just engage in my service and just surrender unto me. So abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me, I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. So what it means that even though, you know, you're not able to fully, you know, do everything for Krishna, there will be some actions and sinful reactions to it. Krishna is saying, do not fear. I will, you know, I will clear that for you. So what I would say, you know, on your first question, Mataji, is that even though you're associating with non-devotees and all this is happening, you know, you have to associate more with those who are in the mode of goodness. But if in case you're not able to, and there's some activities which is not recommended by the scriptures is happening, Krishna is saying, do not fear, I will take away all these reactions, sinful reactions from you. But that doesn't mean to say that we have a free license to do whatever we want and go against the scriptures and all this. No, one has to sincerely engage in Krishna consciousness, even in difficult situations. But if it happens that there are things which we are not able to do according to what the scriptures wants, you know, like for example, association with the wrong people, Krishna is saying that I will take all these sinful reactions from you. This is there in the commentaries of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan. I hope I answered the first question. The second question, Mataji, is that what happened to devotees who are like Brahmins, for example, who flips between different sides and all that. Now, the Varnashrama system, this is what the Varnashrama system was meant for, to bring some order in society, to avoid the chaos we're seeing nowadays. You know, the best example of how the best example to see when Varnashram doesn't work is to just see what's happening now. If Varnashram is not implemented to see the effect, we just have to see what's happening now, which means there is no order in society. It's all total chaos. This is what's happening now. There's no Varnashrama. Now, the idea of Varnashrama is that one has to have some leaders who will be guiding the society, which means the Brahmana, and there will be a section of society who will be responsible for the management and administration and all this, which are the Kshatriyas, and those who will be engaged in earning money and producing in agriculture and protecting the cows and all this. And there should be others who should be supporting the rest of the society, which means those who are supporting the Brahmins, Vaishya, and Shudra, and Kshatriya, and those are the Shudras. This is why the organization in society has been made, because there are clear defined roles, job description, let's say for argument's sake. They have clear defined roles. Now, the thing is, if someone who is a Kshatriya is overlapping and taking the position of a Brahmana, there has been situation in the past where we have Brahmanas who have been engaged in warfare and fighting and all that. They have got those qualities and they are able to do that. We have got Brahmanas who have been, Kshatriyas who have been, in position of instructing, others, Prime Minister and the subordinate. It is there, but ideally, this responsibility lies with the Brahmanas, to actually guide society, and Kshatriyas are mainly for how do you call that, protecting administration and all this. But does it mean that there can be no overlaps? But the Bhagavad Gita clearly says about this is not what it intends to do, because if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you're a Brahmana, you should stick to your work as a Brahmana, even though you're doing it with mistakes. Even though you commit mistakes while being as a Brahmana, you should stick to your work as a Brahmana. Do not go and try to do somebody else's work, because that's not what your nature is. And the Kshatriya is likewise as well. So if you're a Kshatriya, stick with your Kshatriya, even though you're not doing it with perfection. And don't try to go and do the Brahmana's work. So this is why Varnashrama was there, to bring some order in society. But having said that, there has been some instances in our Vedic era, especially during the Mahabharata, where Brahmana were engaged in warfare, and Kshatriya has been engaging in advising other Kshatriyas and all this, but it's not something predominant. It's not something which the scriptures wants. Nowadays, I can't talk on this because the Shakti in the Brahmana have gone has been depleted. Basically, Brahmana are there, but the Shakti is not there. Even for the Kshatriyas as well, the Shudra as well, the Shakti is not there in Kali Yuga. They are there, but they're not as they are previously. But the recommendation is you stick to your role and do not overlap. There has been some instances in the past also, but it's not something common which happens all the time. It happened in the Mahabharata war, where Brahmanas were engaged in fighting and all this, but it's not something common. That's what I can say on this, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu. That's really nicely explained. Thank you, as always. I think the first answer was really amazing, like the way you just described that.
Yeah.
For the second also.
Well, anyway, well, I don't know, I'm sure others will have a better explanation to this. Please feel free to share your thoughts.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for a lovely discussion. So, actually, sometimes you mentioned like a Brahman, Kshatriya, even sometimes a Brahman also doing Kshatriya Dharma, or Kshatriya maybe sometimes doing as a Brahmanical Dharma. Kshatriya also, we can give example of Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah, that was one of the best example. But when Dhruva Maharaj was doing fight against Jaksha, and then he was certain time he was doing wrong activities to destroy to them. At that time, Swayambhavu Manu came and gave him instruction. One of the very important instruction. It was very amazing. You can follow. Normally, Canto 4, chapter 11, text number 29. So it's very nice, giving 29 and 30 is very nice. Is mentioning about whatever you are doing. So you have to focus on supreme person, supreme personality, because whatever you already you mentioned about it, whatever we are doing, Borno and Ashram, main focus to have to attention to the supreme personality. Yes, Prabhuji. 29 for 11, Prabhuji. For 11. Chapter 11, Prabhuji.
Okay, yeah. I'm going.
Chapter
So
11.
is it Canto 4?
Canto 4, yes. Chapter 11. Yeah, 11. 11, text number 29. You can. It's very interesting. There is 29. Yeah, 29. You can go through.
This one?
29. Is it? No, 29. 9
Oh,
more. Yeah, all this is he gave the instruction. It's very nice, but 29 you can follow very nicely.
Yeah.
Yes. So at that time he was telling, because previous many text was very nice, is amazing, but this one is giving him like as in that case you have to give your attention to supreme personality of Godhead. So I mean like as then you 29 and 30 you can go through, because what we are doing, we have to go through. Yeah, to 29 you can read also Prabhupada purport. It's very nice, it's very lovely. Yes, yeah, 29 also Prabhupada give and lovely explanation, because whenever we are doing at that time, you remember Dhruva Maharaj went to forest due to his brother and his stepmother, and
That's right,
after that, when Uttama was killed by Jaksha, and Uttama came, Dhruva Maharaj came to kill them. So before the is so called as an enemy, and now he's a friend. Because after killing his brother, he was taking. It's simple to say is that take revenge, take action to them, and that is why Monu came and given instruction. Don't think me and mine, because it's clearly mentioned. You can find here very nicely. Yeah, 29 and 30 is very amazing. Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I don't know whether you will read 29 also is a clearly explanation of this thing. So whatever we are doing, the Borno and Ashram, so main focus should be Supreme Lord. Otherwise, everything, whatever our dharma is nothing. Is a ultimate goal is a deviation from ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Then we are not reaching anywhere.
Yeah, I mean this is ultimately what Krishna says in chapter 18, talking about Varna, Ashram, and Sannyas and Tyag and all this. All this is there, but you will see later on. I'm sure you've seen it. You know, Krishna says, I mean, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that Arjun was a bit perplexed, still perplexed about all this Varna and Ashram and all this, and Krishna then says, because you are my friend and you're very dear to me, I'm now going to reveal to you the out of all the secrets.
Yeah.
Out of all the secrets, confidential knowledge, I am going to give you the best one. And this is where the Manmana Brahmagupto Madhyaji Mamaraskuru come. And then Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Aham tam sarva papeho mokshashami ma shuchaha. So this is the ultimate one, which means Varna and Ashram become secondary, as you're saying, and the primary objective should be pleasing Krishna, focusing our mind on Krishna, offering worship to Krishna, surrendering into Krishna, and this is the ultimate objective. So Bhagavad-gita, and we were talking about moksha yoga. Chapter is called moksha yoga. If you want to have moksha, this is what you have to do: surrender to Krishna. Varna and ashram is there. It's a bit complicated if I start talking about it. Baldev Vidyabhushan talked about it. Baldev Vidyabhushan actually says one should not rule out Varnam and Ashrama. one should actually not say that one should discard our Varna and Ashrama Dharma. The Varna and Ashrama should be there, but at the same time, the primary objective should be to please Krishna and to surrender into Krishna. That should be there. So that's why Prabhupada, even though we are engaging in Krishna consciousness, whatever we are doing it for Krishna and all this, Prabhupada still wanted this Varna Ashrama system to be established in this world, because we cannot discount Varna and Ashrama. Even though Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Paritya, renounce all these dharmas, including Varna Ashrama Dharma. He doesn't say including Varna Ashrama Dharma, but what he's saying is that forget all religion, all other practices, just focus on me. He doesn't say to Tyag Varna Ashrama. He doesn't say that, but he says main focus is me. Whatever you're doing, do it for me. Even though you're engaging in some activities which is against the scriptures along the way, do not fear. I will take that sin away from you. That he's asking for Sharanagati. Ultimately, it's Sharanagati. That's what he's asking. Whether you're doing Varnashrama or you're not doing it, Sharanagati. But Varnashrama is important because this is a path to take us to Krishna consciousness, to take us to moksha. I mean, probably there's a lot to talk about this chapter.
Indeed. Actually, this is the. Yeah, please go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
Amoga Prabhu, over to you, please. Sorry.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for this is the main thing. I mean, like that before Amoga Prabhu. Actually, whatever our confusion, because I am. It is necessary to read as Bhagavatam. Otherwise, this Bhagavad-gita, we have to know more elaborately, more explanation. We have to come to Bhagavatam. Is many explanation is there. Then we can get our complete knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you, Prabhu, for your contribution.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So pouring nectar on our Sangha and all the devotees. So happy. So I request all the devotees kindly unmute and do 3 loud Hari Bols to Vihari Prabhuji. Kindly.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Prabhupada ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. If you are happy and dear devotees, if you have got any further questions, just a short in bullet points. So kindly share. Otherwise, we shall move on to the next part of our program.
I have a question, Bhim Prabhu, but I don't want to open the can of worms now. Like the question is, who decide that who will reside in which ashram? But we'll talk about it next session, Prabhu. I think it'll be a bit elaborate discussion on this. Because and the other thing is, another question came that people, Brahmanas and everyone change time to time their ashram dharma. Like say for Parshuram, he was a Brahman son, then he has to be a Kshatriya to fight all these kings and kill them. So this type of thing. But on the next class, not today, Prabhu. On the next time when you are in, we'll do that. Haribol.
Okay, Haribol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, with your permission, if you're happy, we shall move on to the next part of our program, and we still have you in the next coming weeks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, I'll be back at some point. Yeah, I think 28. If not 14, 28. I did mention, isn't it? So,
yeah, 14th as well, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll hear you more, Prabhuji. Okay.
Yeah. As I mentioned, Amoga Prabhu, maybe there will be a devotee coming, Maharaj coming to my place on the 14th. It's still question mark. If in case he's coming, so I will not. But if he's not, so I will be here. Then potentially Radharaman Maharaj will come. So I will see if he would like to do, or actually it's good for everyone to, if he's willing to do a program at my place, I will let the Sangha know, and then we can broadcast it online as well. if he's willing to come and do a program. If he's not coming, I'll be here. Yeah. So if devotees agree, the Saturday Sangha can be that program online if you would like to.
Prabhu is it's of course, if Radharaman Prabhu is coming to your home, 100% Sangha going to be from there. We will be blessed to associate it with him on that day.
Yeah, Radharaman Maharaj, yes. Yeah, but I still yet to confirm that. We'll see. We'll let you know. Yeah, we'll let all you know. Yeah, yeah. So if that the Sangha can be converted face to face and online as well, if he's here. Otherwise, if he's not coming, I'll be here. Yeah, on the 14th. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that update. Okay, so with your permission, we shall move on to the next program, Prabhuji, Narsimha Prayers by Her Grace Dineshwesta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Dandatam. Thank you so much for being it, Prabhuji. It's very glorification lecture today. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Big Hari Bol.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada, and you're also there, Prabhuji. Thank you, devotee, all giving this opportunity. Okay, I used to it. My little one wants to do Narsimha prayer, Prabhuji. He's still awake.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Dahine. Yanya Kasi Pabata. Devatan Kavaye. Tona Simha Baratona Simha. Yato Dinya Milatona Simha. Ahena Simha Dedayena Simha. Narasimha Daden Taranan Prabhate.
Narasimha Madin Saranam Prapade.
Kava Kama Wabare Nakam Avatatinga Taridavian Katipu Tanagwenda Sabadita Sarahari Rupa Edadadita Hare Dedagadita Hare Tabakara
Dalita Hiranya Kasipo Notana Vrinda Esha Vadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Gadita
Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare. Jaya Jagadisha Hare.
Natim Hadev, Natim Hadev, Natim Hadev, Natim Hadev.
Jaya Narsimhadev, 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 Jaya Narsimhadev.
Deya Pavan Mavad, Pavan Mavad, Pavan Mavad, Deya Pavan Mavad.
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj.
Nitai Gava Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada? Okay, sing it.
Prabhupada, 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 Daya Daya Prabhupada.
Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lakshmi Bhagwan ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Bol. Jai.
Thank you so much for wonderful opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Ayush Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hari
Mataji.
Bol.
All glory to the Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji. All. Thank you, Hari Bol. Jai.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So beautifully done. Nrsimha prayers. Okay, so any final words? Palla Prabhuji, you want to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, what a nice, very devotional prayer by our little Prabhu. So it was very nice. The nourishment is such an important prayer, and this prayer needs to be, engaged everyone. So we all should be engaged. And by, hearing the prayer from a little master, it's really, really nice, very auspicious. Thank you, Mataji. Bipin Prabhu,
Hari
thanks
Bol.
for a small word, for your session. Always we, look forward to it. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we shall, if you're all happy, we shall conclude our session. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Ananta
Ananta
Purya
Vaishnavebhyo ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna consciousness. See you
Hare Krishna.
tomorrow chanting Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.